There's a reason I live alone in the woods. So far, I've kept you in the dark about why I chose to live like this, but now I finally feel safe enough to share more of my story with you. I'm gonna be brave and tell you what actually led me to this crazy idea. Hey, I'm Jane. I'm a single mom, and I'm not letting that hold me back. I just bought 5 acres of raw land in the Kootenay Rockies, where I'm building my own home and homestead, growing a food forest, creating art, and living life on my own terms. All of this is so one day, hopefully, my kiddo won't need to struggle the way that I did. Come along with me as I create my very own freedom recipe. Hi, I'm back. Sorry, I've been gone away a while, and this is a video I was a little bit nervous to make. I am a little bit nervous to make. I've been putting it off. But I think today's the day.
I ain't afraid of the dark, 'cause once you let the light in, you won't see the beautiful stars shining down from afar. No, I ain't afraid of the dark.
If you notice, I only have candlelight today. I have been living in the dark in the forest for 2 months. I thought it was just gonna be a few days and then a couple weeks, and then it turned into months, and it's worn me down. Everything was go, go, go with the land, and everything was happening so fast, and I was really excited, and I thought the ball would just keep rolling, and then we got here, and there's no hydro. I've learned the hard way that it's true what they say, and hydro can take up to a year or more to be installed. And I'll tell you, it's really hard to make videos without any power. And of course, with no power comes no internet, so I've been really disconnected from the world. I've even been disconnected from my family and friends. In some ways, that's not totally horrible because it's nice to take a break sometimes and unplug. I read the first book that I've read in a decade since my kiddo was born, so that's something. I've actually lived in the tiny home twice without power before this, and to be honest, I never thought I would be in that situation again. Camping can be fun for a weekend or a week, but 2 months is a long time. I do not recommend. I wanted to make this video today because everything up until now has seemed really effortless and glamorous, and like everything in my life just flows so easily, and it's not always the case. This is a really big project I'm taking on, and it's really challenging to do as a single mom. I know that I'm a really capable person and I never shy away from hard work, but sometimes you just wish that one day the hard stuff would just stop, you know? But that isn't how life works, apparently. This week, I've felt particularly beaten down by this whole process, and it made me reflect on why I feel so down. And I'm guessing a lot of you might be able to relate to this because life has just not been the same ever since the pandemic. The whole world is different, the economy is a mess, everything is so expensive, and a lot of us are just treading water and trying to just feel like everything's fine, but I think a lot of us are not fine. The last 4 years for me in particular have been pretty hard, and when I was thinking about it the other day, I thought it's kind of like surfing. When you fall off the board, or at least when I fall off the board, I get tossed all around and I finally come up for air just in time for another wave to come smashing down. And then I get tossed around, come up for air, and then boom. And the last 4 years have just felt like I've been like, boom, boom. And after a while, you're like, I don't really want to surf anymore. I want off the ride. So I thought this week, as I come back into making videos, and I am gonna make videos again, and I'm gonna shoot for that once a week goal, but I thought this one's gonna be a little bit different. Really vulnerable, and I wanna have a conversation with you about why I ended up alone in the dark. I'm really nervous about sharing my story because people sure do hate when you tell the world the truth. 4 years ago, things were going pretty well for me. I was really loving life. I owned a property with a friend. I was in a relationship with the woman of my dreams. My child was happy and healthy, and everything seemed wonderful. But slowly, one by one, everything started to crash. The first big event was my girlfriend at the time ended up leaving me for the woman who she told me was, and I quote, ew. I suspected that she had an attraction to her. I asked her if she'd like to take her on a date, but she insisted up and down that she wasn't attracted to her at all. Well, that ex went to a sensual party and she never came back. I found out later that at that party, she ended up being with the ew woman. It was the deepest heartbreak of my life. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It was awful. I was miserable. But at the same time, I had just purchased land with that friend I had mentioned, and a lot of stuff needed to be developed on it, so I couldn't stop working. It sucked. But I took comfort in thinking that, well, sure, my relationship is going down in flames, but at least I still have wonderful friends. I love my career. I have a great home. Everything else in my life is great. Well, I started finding out that a long-term friend of mine was talking shit behind my back to all of my closest friends. To this day, I have no idea what was said. I have no idea if there were lies told about me. I have no idea what was said about me. And slowly, that gossip sabotaged all of my closest friendships. And one by one, I lost all the people that I trusted. Luckily, I have made new friends since, and I've leaned into older friendships as well. And I've learned that if someone is talking shit behind your back and they don't want to talk to your face, then they're not your friends. But it was another huge wave, boom, smashing me down. As I was trying to recover from that, the economy was also crashing. So, working in the tattoo industry, it's a luxury item. Tattoos are something you do to pamper yourself, and so when people can barely afford to put groceries on the table, they're not gonna put tattoos on their body. And I get it, because I also haven't been tattooed in years, because I can't afford it either. So I don't blame anybody. It's just really humbling when you see tattoo artists around you all downsizing their businesses or taking on second or third jobs or leaving tattooing altogether. So suddenly my income and my career just, boom, came crashing down. But at least I had my home, right? The friend that I bought the property with told me he had to deal with his personal debts. He had been asking me for years if he could borrow against the house to pay off the debt, but he also had owed me a debt and he had also stopped paying that back, so I didn't see proof of responsible debt repayment there, so I kept saying, no, I'm not comfortable with that. I didn't want to risk my home or my daughter's home, and so one day he came to me a little over a year ago and said, I either need to borrow against the house or sell it. I thought about it for about 24 hours and I still didn't feel comfortable with it, so I said, okay, we gotta sell the house. And I was ugly crying in the bath that night. Oh man. I was like fetal, you know, like knees up and like wailing, because I had told my kid that we didn't have to move again, that this was our spot. And here I was not knowing where I was going to move the tiny home, if I was going to own anything, if I would be in a rental situation, if I would have anywhere to put the tiny home, when this would all go down. And I was just scared. I always try to find the silver lining no matter how bleak a situation looks. Some would call me a hopeless dreamer, but I think every breakdown can lead to a breakthrough. So I decided to take a look at what was available on the market, and that is when I saw the ad for this place. It was by far the cheapest thing that you could find in the area because it was a gully and nobody wanted it. But I had no other choice. That was the only place I could afford if I wanted to buy something. I couple days later, that friend came to me and actually offered me a proposition. He said, if my family can afford to buy you out, would you be open to that instead of listing it on the market? And I thought, well, if we sell the house, I gotta move. And if you buy me out, I gotta move. So either way, I gotta move. Yes, it was a little bit annoying that I wasn't the one with the debt problem, but I was the one who had to move. It's a tough pill to swallow, but it all worked out in the end. So I'm actually really grateful for it now. And I've actually said his name out loud and thanked him for messing up his finances, because now I actually have freedom. Now I have this place all to myself. And it's really crazy how sometimes when something seems to be horrible, it's going to be the worst thing that's ever happened to us, and then the best thing comes out of it. So that was another big boof wave that came down. But I do think that that was the last big wave. I hope. I feel like I jinxed myself on that one. Now my friend can rent out my old space and use that income to pay off his debts. So in the end, we both won. Today, with all of these waves behind me, I'm working on healing, which is much easier to do now that I'm safe in my own home.
For us to make it through the night, stormy weather, weary eyes, hope to make it through the night.
But a few very long stories short, that is why I'm alone in the dark, in the woods, trying to make this work by myself. I'm honestly pretty jaded from relationships, not even being able to trust friends, and trying to figure out what the heck I'm gonna do with a career now that the tattoo industry is kind of, it's been a lot. And so not having hydro, I could feel myself slowly getting more and more and more disillusioned with this whole project. But guess what? After 2 months of struggling with headlamps and a camp stove, it finally happened. I now have hydro!
I've been told that time will heal all our wounds and our sorrows too.
The hydro is here. It happened. Today is my last day in the dark. I am quite literally going into the light right now. Hydro's back, having a fridge is back, cooking is back, having a heater is back as winter's coming closer and closer and things are getting colder and colder. I've had so many layers of blankets on my bed and I can't believe it's finally here. I can't believe it. Now I actually have a place to plug in a computer and charge my camera battery, and I can make videos again. But I do need to be realistic about how many videos I can make and how long the videos can be. I was trying to keep up with channels where they have 2 people running the channel and maybe they've been running the channel for a decade and the channel's monetized. I'm a fairly new channel. I'm a very new channel. And I don't make anything on my videos, and until I do, I really need to prioritize an income. And that's something really fun I actually want to share with you. So you may have remembered from episode 3 that I was doing a plumbing apprenticeship. Well, my mentor is retired and he also just had knee surgery. It didn't go that well and everything was feeling pretty overwhelming. I don't know anything about plumbing. I can't do it on my own. It is something I'm interested in, but if I'm really honest with you, I need to be doing something that relates to art. I think when you're an artist and you're not doing art, that contributes to feeling depressed. So I was leaving the library last week, getting that book I was telling you about, and they have this bulletin board with random stuff from the community, stuff that's going on. And I saw a poster from UBC that was for a Bachelor's of Education that's taught in the small town that I live close to. I thought that was super weird because is this a real Bachelor's of Education? Could I go to teacher's college here? I didn't think it was real. So I actually called UBC and I asked, is this a standard BED? And they said yes. So the deadline is in a couple months, and I'm now hustling to gather all my stuff together because I can be an art and drama teacher. That's what I'm qualified for, to teach high school. Those are the subjects that my undergrad is in. So I'm actually starting to volunteer with the local high schools in their art departments and theater departments. I went into each of the classrooms and I was like, oh, yes, this is what I've been missing. This feels great. Inspiring people to be creative and use their imaginations and hone their skills. Yeah, I can get down with that. And I've always kind of wanted to be a teacher. I've thought about it ever since I was in high school, and it always pops up on my radar, but I knew that if I was ever gonna do it, I wasn't gonna half-ass it. If I'm gonna be a teacher, I'm gonna be both feet in, I'm gonna be 100% committed and fully there for the students. Now that my kid is a little bit older, I think it's time. If I could secure a teaching job, that would be the consistent income that I've been looking for. Because I do want to build my timber frame home. I just don't know how I would do it without a solid career. Of course, I would love for YouTube to be able to create an income flow that could support that dream, but it's going to take a while for it to get there, if it does. I really appreciate you being here. I really appreciate you commenting, all of your support. You have no idea. But I have to be realistic because I'm only one person and I have to pay the bills and clean the house and build the house and be a parent and take care of my health. It's hard to find time to make videos in that time period. And I've also decided to change up how this channel works a little bit. Quite frankly, I don't have the money to just be building all the time. I am pretty much out of money now. I thought I would get through this without debt, and now I have taken on debt. So I also need to repay that debt. So I'm just gonna take you on this crazy journey, and I'm being really honest about it because it's not as easy as just banging everything out, getting it done, and having your dreams come true. It's a slog. It's worth it, but it's hard work trudging through the mud. But hopefully, there are no more big waves that are just gonna come crashing down. I feel like I have put the surfboard away for a while. Sometimes it takes losing almost everything to discover who's really in your corner. So thank you again for being here. And in the upcoming weeks, I'm gonna catch you up on all of the stuff that I've been doing while I've been offline. Thank you for listening to the Real Talk. And I'm gonna try to put some more Real Talk on Instagram, just sort of my off-the-cuff thoughts for the day, because I want this journey to be authentic, raw, and not just glorified to make it seem like, oh, everything is so easy, because it's not. I believe that magic is created with hard work, over time, and having faith. And so I'm going to keep going because that is the only option. No matter what comes your way in life, remember to pour love into it and also into yourself.